thank you folks for joining. Um, Principally, the reason we're having this webinar today is we think that e-commerce does not understand and appreciate um, that Microsoft is sure it's a staple in all of our lives, but it's not a dinosaur by any means. It is doing so much to shake up e-com. It has done so much to help our clients diversify and grow during hard times. We had to give them the spotlight because they're doing so much. Um, and as we started to discuss and build out this webinar, there was just so much more and more to cover. So there's a lot to stay for. We're going to run this for about 60 minutes. Do try to stay for each slide. I'm Nick Rajpal. I'm the VP of Marketing Sciences. I've been at Exclusive for 15 years. I joined the company to convert our business from design and SEO projects to a retainer services business. I launched our SEO program, Google Ads, conversion testing, email, Amazon, built out our strategy team, and we've continued to build this for 15 years. And I'm also the host of our webinar series. So if you come to more, we do this every 2 weeks. I'm joined by my colleague, Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I've been with Exclusive since 2014, so going on 9 years, and I currently oversee our entire paid media department, which is composed of paid search, product ads, shopping, marketplaces, social, feeds, project management, and creative. So I'm excited to be here, and I'll hand things over to Richard.
Hey, so I'm Richard Park, and I'm part of, going over this webinar with you from Microsoft Search, and I've been an account executive now for about 2 years in various different roles. But yeah, I mean, been at Microsoft for about 9 years and Search for over 12 years. And for me, my bread and butter has always been around comparison shopping engines, feeds, and then, obviously shopping ads is a big one. Was originally hired to help with optimization for Bing Shopping back in the day, which now we call Microsoft Search or Microsoft Shopping Ads. But on my free time, a little bit about myself personally, I have a 21-month-old son, so, outside of work, that's where all my time goes to, just hanging out with my kiddo. So, yeah. And then we'll hand it off. I'm going to hand it off now to, see if the slides are working, if I can change it here. Well, we're going to go into some myths. So I'm going to hand this one off to, I believe is it you, Lisa, or is it me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're just going to jump into our first myth about Microsoft, that Google and Facebook are the only platforms that reach billions of people. Where the reality is.
And the reality is that, we reach over 1 billion people with a higher purchasing power. When we look at the actual audience that we have on Microsoft, we have a 15% chance to actually spend online on average compared to your other web users. So our purchasing power is there. And when we look at just their demographic, we have an average household income that's 85,000 or more. So we definitely have that reach there for sure when it comes to Microsoft Search in general. And what helps power this is through our whole entire Microsoft ecosystem when it comes to just search and our native, and then our social and even gaming console. When we look at this whole entire aggregate, it's over 1 billion users here. The biggest thing is to call out is obviously a lot of it comes from our Microsoft Edge users, but then our Microsoft Search users as well, and then our capabilities with the social platform of LinkedIn, along with Outlook, and then MSN. It's definitely a powerful tool that we have all together. And then we can go on to our next myth. Nick, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, the next myth is that Bing only reaches users in the US and that it's somehow just an American phenomenon. It is not spread across the world.
Yeah, so I think I went too far, too quickly, but basically, it's false. We are a global company where our reach obviously reaches across the whole entire globe. You know, we're in 5 major continents, and if you go to the next slide, we hit over 130 markets. And the best way to think about this is that, let's say, for example, you're Adidas, right? You can sell your shoes in Spain, or we can use DMAs and look at high Spanish-speaking states like or cities such as Los Angeles or Miami, and we can target those using using texts that are in Spanish. But then the biggest thing that we wanted to show off here is just like our reach across the 130 markets. You know, we just expanded to Japan. You know, it's not just what we are domestically, but just internationally. When we're looking at Asia, Europe, South America, our reach is definitely there to consider with 35 different languages to consider. Then going on to our next myth, Lisa.
Great. So in a world seemingly dominated by Google, it leads many to assume like everyone uses Google. Who uses Bing? Who uses Microsoft?
Yeah. See, the slide changes. So that's, again, you know, we have over 49 million unique users on Microsoft Search that you can't reach on Google. And within the last 6 years, we've doubled our actual markets, our search market share. You know, I want to say domestically, we're at 38.1, and you know, so we've definitely grown there. And what makes up for this growth is through our partnerships, right? We not only have our owned and operated sites, which is, you know, Bing.com, MSN, and Outlook, but we also expand across our partners. So whether we're looking at Ecosia or DuckDuckGo, right? And then we also have our trusted partners such as WebMD, AOL. So definitely we partner with 30 different partners across this whole entire network that we want to make sure that we provide, you know, number one is data that's safe for everyone to use using first party data as well. And we'll get more into that with our UET discussion later down the road. See if we can change slides. And then just looking at just our whole entire market share here. The one thing that I wanted to call out was we have 208 million worldwide unique users that you can't reach on Google as well. And we have over 1.5 billion searchers a month just globally. And then, like I mentioned before, domestically, we have 38.1 PC market share, and then 49 million unique users that you can't reach on Google. And then, Nick, I'll hand it off to you for the next myth.
Yeah, and by the way, the more I think about part of the reason that Microsoft is growing, think about how everyone had their computers at work, and now people have computers at home to do their work as well. People have access to their PCs running Microsoft in a way that they never had before the pandemic. And that just is a direct channel right into the Microsoft network. Richard hinted towards this a little bit earlier, but we think that, well, at least a lot of people think that the Bing audience has stagnated or is not as internet savvy or able to spend as much or willing to spend as much on shopping, and then Google has kind of got the gold mine of users, but it's a myth.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go into basically when we're looking at our users, you know, we have 4 in 10 of our average household income is around 85 or more. And we'll also get into more stats where we're looking at just the breakdown between gender and then just, you know, the age group as well. So we'll take a look there. We'll get more details when it comes to just, you know, who's the audience on Microsoft Search, right? And here's the other myth. So we kind of went. I might have to ask you to drive because apparently when I'm hitting it, it's going to it might be skipping.
There's too much functionality at once.
Yeah.
I got it, Richard.
This myth is just funny to me. Bing is old and boring. I'll use the anecdote of, and this is true to my grandfather, that only your grandfather uses Bing. Everybody sets Google or other search engines to be their main search engine across their computer or on their phone, but the assumptions are that Bing isn't innovating at the speed as other search engines such as Google, which is just simply not the case.
So here is a quick video of just some of the new functionality that's been coming out with our Azure Cloud and our learning capabilities. And obviously you've seen in the news what's been announced recently with our new function with ChatGPT, our new Bing experience that's in pilot that will be available to hopefully the masses soon, but I don't have a date for that yet. But here you can see some of the results that we're showing when you're typing in Galapagos Island, and we'll get into more of like what the new Bing experience is going to be down the actual webinar. So I did mention this when we look at our audience pool, it's a 50-50 split across a lot of things that you don't recognize. So when we look at the gender, men and women, 53 to versus 47, it's a good split between genders. But then when you think about the age group, a lot of people, like Lisa said, it's like my grandfather's using Bing to do searches, but that's not the case. Actually, 53% of users are between the ages of 18 and 44. So definitely we do have that. We do have a younger age group that does use Microsoft Search or Bing in general. And then 49% of our audiences users have actually graduated from college. And like I mentioned, 41% have an average household income of 85% of 85,000 or more, which then allows those users to spend more online, which is 15% more than what we see across average web users. So I'm going to hand this off to Lisa.
Great. Thanks, Richard. So vast majority of exclusive clients, over 75% of our clients are taking advantage of the Microsoft Ads platform. We believe in utilizing this as a core part of our toolbox to drive everything from awareness, visibility, consideration, driving conversions, and driving that loyalty across the entire virtuous activity cycle. And over the past year, we've increased our overall ad spend investment within Microsoft by over 20%, and we are continuing to drive that investment going into 2023. So in this next section, we'll be jumping into some recent functionality enhancements that are driving performance, and Richard will dig deeper into this. But first, we'll jump into some updates with MSAN, which is the audience network that Richard had spoken to already. So some examples here is we have 3 clients specifically, just to give a few examples, that are from different verticals that have recently really pushed their investment in MSAN. And this is to drive increases in traffic and revenue, while also seeing decreases in CPCs and growth in efficiency and return on ad spend. We also had a great brand lift study that we worked with our wonderful Microsoft team on for us to analyze the impact for one specific client of broader targeting through MSAN. And this resulted in more branded searches, which meant that the team could target beyond in-market audiences and drive significant lift in brand awareness. So Richard will take it from here and dive deeper into other functionalities, but it just shows some great promise across our clients.
Yeah, thank you. Go to the next slide here. Switch. All right, so if you haven't heard in recent news, Microsoft purchased Xandr. Xandr is a platform for obviously native and display and video. And together with Microsoft, we now, it's not just the text ads, your traditional text ads and your shopping ads. We combine a full suite now, thinking about just global search, thinking about your native and programmatic display offerings, and then just thinking about your e-com, whether it's looking at shopping or local inventory ads. With the partnership of Xandr, we're a full suite that we should be thinking about. see the next slide. So when we look at the Microsoft Audience Network, with our machine learning and AI capabilities, we are able to definitely just reach a broader audience through different avenues. So we start with Outlook. We can go into Microsoft Edge, we go into our Bing, we go to MSN.com, and then using our Select Publisher Network, we're able to show display ads, text ads, and video. This is a powerful tool that we have that definitely has performed really well for exclusive and for just our customers in general. Whether you're looking at the funnel for brand and awareness, all the way to conversion, Microsoft Audience Network has that capability. And we'll go to the next slide. So how does it look, right? When we're talking about Outlook, I'm talking about Edge and Bing. So how does it actually play out? So here we have an example of a product ad. This can show up on actual MSN.com. The beauty of product ads is that we have the capability of using dynamic remarketing. So anyone who's visited your website that added a product to the cart but never checked out, we can dynamically remarket that using the shopping feed and then remarketing that across our partners on MSN.com and our Edge browser experience. Text ads, this can show up on Outlook.com, right? So making sure that we remarket it to you and anyone who has and using in-market audiences to target those who have a higher propensity to purchase or click, we can use Outlook as well. And then just image ads that go across our Edge browser or MSN.com. If you're looking for that brand and awareness play, that's definitely something to consider. And then video ads is something that we're right now just testing on MSN.com, or it's rolled out on MSN.com with future exploration of how we can expand it. But this is definitely a good way to boost your branding awareness as well. So how does the engine work? What are just some of the optimization and secret sauces that exclusive does really well, right? So we let exclusive and then just, your savvy search users, what we do is we layer in these capabilities of targeting, right? Whether it's using profile targeting, audience targeting, or location devices. With Microsoft Audience Network, you have this capability to layer in all different types of targeting. So for example, you can use in LinkedIn profile targeting, whether it's a job function or a company, or you can use on top of that, you can use our in-market audience list, our own curated list where we have audience pools that we know have a higher propensity to search or to convert than your remarketing list, right? You can create your own remarketing list for cart abandoners and then using your own first-party data for customer match as well. So definitely there's a lot of things that you can target and layer on. I'm going to pass it back to Lisa, where she's going to go over a case study for DK Hardware.
Awesome. So DK Hardware is an online home improvement retailer across the US and Canada, and we've worked with DK since 2020. And since the inception of us taking over their paid search business, I think we've increased it over 4x since then, which has been amazing. But especially over the past year, the team has been able to drive efficient growth and performance. So overall in 2022, the team was tasked to grow year-over-year revenue while maintaining a minimum of a 400% return on ad spend for non-brand performance. So in short, how the team got there is through a series of tactics across consideration, conversion, and loyalty to achieve amazing results. This included across the board adoption of automated bidding strategies to push performance based on each campaign objective, from target return on ad spend, enhanced CPC, and max clicks. They drove a higher investment in targeting key non-branded terms within search campaigns. And then on the shopping side, they launched new product type specific campaigns for important product categories. And overall, when we looked at the year as a whole and compared it to the previous year, they not only increased the non-brand search investment by 35% year over year, they also had, through that increased investment, increased revenue by 75%, all while increasing the return on ad spend by 46%, which the return on ad spend for non-brand stayed well above that goal. So all in all, the team had been able to drive amazing results, and 2023 is off to a fantastic start.
Great. So how do we, everything that Lisa just mentioned, she was tracking, she saw all these results. What powers that, right? Obviously, universal event tracking, UET, is something that's very important. And Exclusive has done a very good job adopting this, and I want to say they are leaders when it comes to helping implement it. So best practice here is to definitely consider using UET to implement that across all your pages on your website so that we can track anything from conversions, time on site, just ad activity, page views. So there's a lot that can be done with UET. We'll go deeper into that as well. So what's the full gamut of what UET unlocks for you? UET will give you the conversion tracking where you'll be able to create conversion goals, not conversion goals just based on, actually someone who's purchased, but time on site will be important. But you can basically create your own conversion goal that you're looking for through a slew of options as well. Automated bidding, we want to make your life easier. You don't want to go in there every day, use manual CPC adjustments, right? You want to make sure you have these auto bidding functions available for you, whether it's target CPA, target ROAS. That comes with UET. Audience, like I just spoke about, whether it's using LinkedIn profile, using remarketing, using customer match, definitely things to consider as well. And then campaign performance and everything else that we just briefly touched on, like tracking everything from site page, time on site, and just ad performance and everything. UET unlocks all of that. So it's definitely something that you want to consider that we use going forward, and Exclusive has done a great job with implementing that and moving forward. And then talking about just UET adoption, making sure that we're properly tracking conversions, getting the right audiences in there, utilizing automated bidding. When we look at the actual, just the work that Exclusive has done, I believe they've put in 85% of their customers have adopted UET, which is pretty amazing. That's a lot of work. And when it comes to the actual adoption, Exclusive has done a great job of creating best practices and guides to make sure that you're implementing the right way. Whether you're using a tag manager, such as Google Tag Manager or Telium, or working with Shopify or Magento, Exclusive has done a great job when working on all those different platforms, making sure that UET is tagged across, and then creating those, conversion goals, making sure that we have the audiences created. So definitely, it's really valuable to work with Exclusive on this and adopting UET so that we can track everything efficiently and optimize. And so when we talked about automated bidding, the main things I want to call out is the TROAS and TCPA, right? And for best practice here that I want to make sure that people get is that there is a learning period for this, for TROAS and TCPA. Usually it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. So ideally within the first 30 days, when you set your goals, whether it's target ROAS, you want to make sure that you set a realistic goal that for how you've been performing the last 30 days and either adjusting it plus or minus 20% from there. Then once you have that, once you start getting in data, we ask you not to adjust anything once you have 2 weeks worth of data and only make minor adjustments. Tweaking it by 20% plus or minus, so that our system can learn, and then it can basically hit your ROAS goal that you're looking for. And then from that point on, after 30 days or so, then you can make more adjustments. And Exclusive will do a good job when it comes to just observing everything and making those adjustments for you. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it back to Lisa on a case study.
Great. So Brochu Walker is a luxury apparel and lifestyle brand. They signed on with us in early 2022, and since taking over management, performance has certainly skyrocketed. So prior to us taking over, Brochu hadn't fully invested in Microsoft ads and hadn't yet taken advantage of the opportunity of this platform. This is part of our best practice, so of course we really invested in here. And ultimately the goal was to scale the investment while maintaining a 750% return on ad spend. That included both brand and non-brand performance. And being in the apparel space, we needed to make sure we maintained a lower cost per click and improved efficiency while simultaneously growing. So a big challenge at hand. At first, the team had immediately created an optimized shopping feed and launched shopping ads, which had never been before utilized. And this was certainly a springboard for high accelerated growth. Within the search campaigns, the team had tightened the targeting utilizing target impression share and enhanced CPC. And they also launched additional campaigns for key product categories for like cashmere sweaters, dresses, things of that nature, thus expanding the universe to increase awareness and specifically pushing for terms outside of Brochu Walker terms like the cashmere sweater and specific branded terms. So overall, the team definitely drastically increased the investment year over year by over 220%, all while growing revenue at a faster pace and maintaining well above that 700% return on ad spend goal and increasing that return on ad spend over 236% year over year. This was just an outstanding case study for why if you haven't utilized Microsoft ads before, you definitely should and get started because the performance here was exceptional. I think I jumped ahead.
All good. Perfect. So extensions, as most of you know, search savvy people, we know what extensions are, whether they're image extensions, action extensions. We want to make sure that you have everything set up and exclusive when it comes to their customers. They have over 75% of their customers exceed that adoption of extensions, whether it's site link, structured snippets, image extensions, and action extensions. So definitely something to consider when you're working with exclusive that, you know, when it comes to implementation base, they do a great job, especially when it's UET, MSAN, and for extensions as well. And then just going and moving along. Just different, you know, on the theme of what's different from Microsoft Search, right? We want to make sure we call out some of the new products that we've recently launched. So solutions to attract researchers, right? These are more image-based that you'll see. So Microsoft Audience Ads that we just talked about, whether you have video, whether you have images, really driven by the theme of something that's visual. So within launch of that, we also launched multimedia ads. Multimedia ads, which we'll go into an example later, is basically shows up on the search engine result page on the right-hand row where you're able to give an actual image. And this image will be a new ad type with your existing text campaigns. It's a visual image that obviously drives more attention to the users, and it helps take up more SERP dominance. That's something I want to call out. So when you're looking at your brand campaign and you type in, like, let's say Adidas shoes, you'll have your mainline text ads along with the multimedia ads, and that's like 70 to 90% SERP dominance that you should be thinking about. And then along with that, if you're running MSAN, if you're running multimedia ads, right, there's no excuse to obviously upload image extensions and video extensions. And then just some of your bread and butter stuff to be thinking about: RSAs, dynamic search ads, whether you're, you know, testing that out for non-brand, definitely worth a call out there, worth a call for that. And then using broad match with audiences has seen good success as well. And I went too far. Let's see. All right. So when we're looking at the e-com side of the business and trying to convert, right, trying to attract new buyers, trying to get past purchasers back, remarketing is obviously the great tool that we should be thinking about. Dynamic remarketing is something that comes with the Microsoft Audience Network, which I did mention before. That's a powerful tool and receives such a great return on ad spend for most customers. Other things that you should be thinking about is if you have loyalty customers, using customer match, right? Providing those, whether it's email data or just a list of customers that you know that are part of your loyalty program, make sure we retarget those customers. And then, like I said, responsive search ads and multimedia ads, those are just good ways to show product and making sure that, whether it's a promotion or evergreen product, that we're able to attract those customers back to your site. Then some of the, what we did recently is, I want to say we closed our deal with Promote IQ, which is a very retail-based, it's a retail platform that is mostly known for co-bidding, right? So what we've integrated with Promote IQ is this ability to co-bid on other retail advertiser sites. So traditionally, when we think about text ads and we think of search engine, we think about shopping ads appearing on the SERP. But now with this co-bidding opportunity, you're able to basically bid on, for example, Zappos or Dick's Sporting Good, right? If you have product on their site, you're able to basically bid on those products so they show up more prominently on this search engine result page for a Zappos or a Dick's Sporting Good. We can go into an example here. So with the Microsoft Audience Network, we're hitting on our search partners, our MSN.com and Edge. And then on Microsoft Search, you're looking at the shopping ad here. But then on Promote IQ's ability on the retailer side, you know, if someone types in striped sweater, we're now able to basically highlight that striped sweater, saying it's a sponsored ad, and making sure that it shows up prominently on the search engine result page. So that's that co-bidding opportunity that we're definitely going into in our Microsoft Retail Advertising Network. So something to explore there. It's going to be more available to customers soon, but this is something that we are piloting. And then, you know, when it comes to just making life easier, Exclusive has done a great job with working with customers, making sure that we import from campaigns from Google and from other various social media networks and from other platforms as well. So definitely, when you're thinking about working with whether it's Exclusive or just on your own, use the import functionality. It's easy, it's made simple, but there might be some nuances that Exclusive can definitely help you with when importing things over. And the beauty of imports is that we've expanded our import capabilities, not just from Google, but we're looking now at Pinterest, but we have Facebook import, whether we want to import images or videos. And then we have the capabilities that for Amazon ads as well. So import is something that we know that people are looking for. It makes your life easier. So we're definitely expanding there. And then, like I mentioned, multimedia ads. Wanted to give you that example again. So here you can see on the right side, we have what multimedia ads look like. Like I said, SERP dominance is the main thing. You're showing up on if you're using it for your brand campaigns, you have your mainline text ads, and then you have that visual ad that has an action extension and a headline and a description. This is great for e-com clients, basically highlighting any promotions or even your evergreen products. It works really well. What we've seen from multimedia ads is that we've seen a higher conversion rate, a higher click-through rate, a lower CPC compared to your traditional text ads. One thing I want to call out is that it's not only great for brand, it's also great for conquesting. So think about that as well. Definitely highlight this, and what I said before, if you're going to run multimedia ads, use those images and extend them into image extensions as well. And then I'm going to hand it back to Lisa on another case study. So here you go, Lisa.
Thank you. So this is the final case study that we'll highlight today. So SkyGeek is an online aircraft parts and supplies company that we've actually been working with for over a decade and have driven amazing
15
growth
years.
with 15 years, so longer, 15 years. And specifically in 2022, our team really took advantage of Microsoft ads to drive profitable growth for SkyGeek. So overall, the goal was we want to maintain at least a 2,000% return on ad spend. But the team wanted to not only expand their reach and grow market share, but drive better repeat purchase rates and just increase revenue year over year. So the team focused more aggressively on efforts that impacted and targeted customers in the conversion and the loyalty stages of their journey. So a couple ways that they did this: launching and getting more aggressive with DSA campaigns, targeting users who have visited high-value pages on their website. They launched shopping campaigns across a mix of product brand segmentation and covered campaigns that focused on maximum efficiency and also maximum coverage. And then lastly, taking advantage of all of the Bing UET tag capabilities and driving remarketing audiences, in-market audiences, and even custom combination remarketing lists. They really layered these audiences over their search and shopping campaigns to make sure that we remarketed to these high value audiences while also taking advantage of automated bidding strategies across the board. That's definitely a best practice. So if we compare the end game in terms of results, even though we increased spend at a higher rate by 177%, over 100,000, the revenue increased over 146%, or over 3 million year over year. And even though we saw a slight decrease in return on ad spend, it still remained well above the 2,000% goal, meaning we weren't leaving any money on the table. We wanted to make sure we were taking advantage of the revenue and of the opportunity that is out there existing on the platform. So great work to that team.
All right. So next, we're going to go into what you've heard mostly in the news these days, our functionality with ChatGPT. My counterpart, Matt, who I'm going to call out, has made me do this. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble or my hand slapped for this. So we'll go into a preview of it. Yeah, let's see how it goes. But it's not a demo. We just took some slides, some images, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. So the new Bing, the new experience, right? Everyone wants access to this. I want to say recently, I think on the first day, we had about 80,000 signups within like just a couple hours when we introduced it. And then 1 million or so following. And then if you go into the App Store, whether it's Google or Apple, under productivity tools, Bing, the Bing app was actually #1, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about this, right? So what is it? What is the new Bing? It's powered by, the functionality of ChatGPT, the AI learning. People are scared of it. Some people are against it. But I think this will make your life easier in the long run. It's basically, whether you're using your phone to contextually talk, just ask questions, or you typing in certain search, we're going to give you an experience that kind of basically gives you all the answers in one in a safe, responsible way. And below that, what you'll see here is just a text ad experience with annotations as well. So how does this work for us, for the search people, right? We're going to give you annotations. It's going to be highlighted in blue or underlined. And when you click over it, it'll give you that source. In some instances, it'll give you that paid search source as well. So definitely a new area to think about where, I'm not just going to show up on the main line, but I'm going to show up in these annotations as well, right? I don't know how the actual algo is going to work for that, or, if it's going to be CPC based, but there's, that's more to come, in the coming months. And then just more examples of like what we're looking at when we're looking for a search experience here on the chat. When we ask questions, whether it's a question around like, what can I replace eggs with when I'm baking a cake, right? It'll give you it'll give you a whole recipe, and within those annotations, it'll give you, where the source is coming from, obviously. And then here we're going to look at just within the chat functionality again, how some of these ads are appearing. So it's unique. Whether you're looking for an actual hotel that you want to stay in, right? Or you type in something like, what are the top 10 stays in like Las Vegas, right? We might show an actual hotel ad here, right? So here you'll see an ad for a hotel with an action extension, which is pretty unique in that sense. And then this one, if you're looking for, let's say, what's some, I guess Mother's Day is gonna be coming up, right? If you think about Mother's Day, you want to be like, what are the top 10 selling bouquets for mothers, right? It'll give you a list there, and then below it, guess what? Shopping ads will appear, where you can purchase some of these bouquets or these flowers for your mother. So definitely there's going to be that functionality built into it where you can monetize as well. The next thing is hotel ads again. So the functionality with one of our newer products, which is hotel ads, we're built that into here as well, whether you're looking for a stay or even if you want to like do a search that's more, I don't want to say, I guess it's more complicated, saying, plan me a whole entire trip to Colorado and give me a place to stay with sights to see. Our chat GPT functionality will give you, will make a plan for you. And then below that, we'll show you options on where to stay with hotel ads as well. So definitely the monetization there is here for this functionality. And then when we talk about, just to wrap up things here, and then, we'll have a time for question and answers. We're looking at this Microsoft consumer flywheel. The biggest thing I want to say is that privacy is the most paramount thing to consider when we're thinking about this consumer flywheel. And then within everything there, we want to give you, the user, just the ability to create, to have control. As Satya has said, we want to empower every person in every organization on this planet to achieve more. And with Microsoft Search, we've been putting in the dollars, we've been putting in the engineering and the resources to make sure that we offer something unique for customers. And I want to say that, Exclusives has been, they've been a leader when it comes to this, with whether it's UET adoption or Microsoft Audience Network. They've done a great job. As you can see through the case studies, whether it's at layering targetings or just making sure that, we're able to track conversions, then optimize going forward. So I'm going to hand it off to Nick, where Nick is going to go through Exclusives' virtuous activity cycle, as they would say, and their leading services. But one thing I did want to call out for Exclusive is that Exclusive actually, they've been nominated and they're finalists for the Microsoft Rising Star of the Year and Channel Partner of the Year. So congratulations to them for the nominations. And we wish them all the best, and hopefully they become the winners for these. So I'm gonna hand it off to Nick, and I'll be sticking around for questions as well.
That was awesome. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, we'll close this out quickly. We just wanted to opine on, where does Bing fit within the entire holistic challenge. And Richard, if you don't mind, I know that you guys have been hearing certain things on your end, and it'd be a nice segue for us to talk about how we're addressing it through our innovation and technology. Sorry, Richard, we talked about potentially having you cover this one. I'll just cover it real quick, by the way, guys.
Sure.
But basically, there's been a lot of gathering from Microsoft advertisers, the clients, and asking them what their concerns are. And most of the concerns are based on the same things that you have concerns on with like Facebook or Google. There's so many different channels at play. How do they work together? How do we make sure attribution is going to be managed correctly? This is probably the biggest challenge that we've had to face as the digital footprint of consumers is expanding. And while there are, agencies that specialize in Amazon or Google, they miss out on the importance of an MSN, for example, because they're not looking at the entire holistic picture. And as stewards of holistic marketing, where clients are sometimes investing in 10, 15 different channels that are all working together, what we want to do is get the marketing investor to stop thinking about investments purely at the channel level. For Bing and Microsoft, for example, when you start to take a layer of your investments and say, one of the desired outcomes of marketing is that we get more awareness. And we're going to use AMZN, we're going to use Meta, we're going to use Amazon DSP all together. Then when you look at that particular ribbon of your investment, you get to see how something like a Microsoft is actually the shining star, right? And you can start to coordinate your advertising across that desired outcome. Similarly, this is how we want to encourage e-com to invest in all their channels. Don't think about the investment and the planning at the channel level. Think about it as desired outcomes. Awareness, cold audiences finding out about your business. consideration, non-branded searchers seeing you in the results. Conversion, past visitors being encouraged to finally buy from you. Loyalty, past customers being encouraged to buy again. And advocacy, even though you may not make a return on it, asking for likes and shares and reviews, because that gets more awareness. More awareness gets you more consideration, and you are spinning your flywheel of your own growth in this virtuous activity cycle. So this has helped us put the spotlight on opportunities like Microsoft, where maybe not every agency is able to see how valuable that channel is. But there's other ways that we're able to spot a winning platform like Microsoft, and that's media mix modeling. Media mix modeling takes all the revenue and all the ad spend from different channels and starts to compute the correlations and what is actually driving growth. And once all these inputs are put in, we can quickly, in real time, see what the revenue has been for the last 12 months and what it's projected for the next 12 months based on current trajectory. What the marketing efficiency ratio, or TACOs, has been for the last 12 months and what it will be in the next 12 months based on, again, improvements. What's exciting after that is that we can start to see channels and sections of channels and which ones actually contribute the most to revenue growth. And once you identify this, you can then rerun new projections for the next 12 months and say, I didn't know Bing was producing 10 times more productivity to my revenue than Meta. So what would happen if I increased my Bing investment by 200% in the next year? And from just that, we can run new spend forecasts, new revenue forecasts, and modulate based on seasonality. Technology like this is allowing the diverse investments available to you to actually come to light. So really quickly, folks, we have an offer. So for those of you who need to go to your next meeting, before you do, we might just give you $500 free. So just hold on for 1 second. First of all, we do have an offer from Exclusive and one from Microsoft. As a recap of Exclusive, we have a diversity of channels that we manage. We coordinate that across our own virtuous activity cycle to make sure that there's a lot of synergy. We have our own technology that helps us bring that all together. But we've got two offers. The first offer that we wanted to get out there was thanks to the Microsoft team. And it is essentially a spend 500 and get 500 ad credit for MSN. This is based on whoever answers the questions first. So you've got a few options. If you are new to Bing and you don't have an account, then we're going to give you a credit that says when you spend your first 500, you're going to get an extra 500 to spend. If you're already running Bing ads, Microsoft, and you have not taken advantage of the audience network, then just to spend in that area, when you spend 500, we'll get you another $500 credit thanks to our partners. And if you're not a fit for either one, please let us know. But given that I'm sure many of you showed up today just to make sure that you got this credit, we're going to let this poll run for a few more moments. You may not get another chance to answer or get this credit, so please do take a moment, close your other browsers, check the poll real quick, and we're going to close this out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, folks. And last poll is just wanted to quickly see if anyone is interested in receiving a growth plan from Exclusive. What we do in our growth plan is learn your business inside out, all your competitors, what your current channel mix is. We try to identify what the triggers of growth would be for you, whether it's getting more brand awareness because that's important to your customers, or search dominance, which might be more important on the flip side. We've separated ecom into those two different tracks: brand-based journeys and search-based. Once we do all the research to identify what your customers actually are looking for from you, we will devise a distribution plan, a channel mix recommendation, a segmentation strategy, and if you have enough ad spend in Google Ads or Meta or Microsoft or Amazon, or you have some serious movement on SEO or email, we'll bring in other people to help analyze that. We don't charge for this process. This is the process we use to try to find the next great fit, the next DK Hardware, the next Brochu Walker, the next Styles Logistics, so we can grow your business for many years to come. But we'll keep this up as we start to answer some of the questions that you guys have posed. And Richard and Lisa, can you both see the questions in
Yep.
the question
Yes.
module?
Yep.
Awesome. Anyone want to take a first crack?
Yeah, I can do one from, I think, Julia Poe. The question was, are co-branded product ads marked as ads within a website like Zappos, or are they indistinguishable from organic listings? That's a great question. I wish I had an example to show you, but if you go on Zappos and you type in certain products by brand, you'll most likely see, for the co-branded, you'll see something that says ads or sponsored ads, I believe, in the top left-hand corner. So it will be marked as an ad for sure. Does Microsoft have advertising account managers to help with advertisers optimize? That's a great question from Janet Weinstock. We do have account managers that can help. So basically, depending on the size of your business, but if you're working with, obviously, with someone like Exclusive, they work in hand with us, so we can help them help you, or you may be assigned an account manager as well from Microsoft, and you can reach out to them as well. To get an actual account manager, that's something that I'm not. There are certain requirements for that is a longer discussion. And I think we kind of went over can we get a demo of the new AI-powered Bing search from Julia?
Yeah, there were some questions that were asked, and we covered it anyways.
Yeah. And then any insight on the audience makeup of the 49 million unique users? Does it mirror the US population in terms of demographic? I think a lot of that we kind of went over the unique users. I should have tied it in maybe a little bit better, but we do have unique users based on the genders. Obviously, 53, 47 between men and women. 4 out of 10 having a household income of $85,000 or more. But I did share some of those information in the slide, and that does make up for some of that 49 million users that we did talk about. And then the question about how about other markets with the unique reach of Bing in those markets apart from the US? I would say some of our biggest markets outside of the US to consider is like in South America. Brazil is a big market that we have focused around. EMEA, obviously, we have in the European market, we have the UK, Germany, France, Spain. Those are some of the major markets that we play, that we have an impact on. In Asia, Australia, now Japan is something we're expanding upon as well. When it comes to some of the unique reach, I don't have some of those numbers for you, but maybe that's something that we can even look into more. I think that answered most of the questions here, I want to say.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Richard, thank you so much for joining and helping put this together, and Lisa as well, and the team at Microsoft and our team for giving some great case studies, and clients for letting us tell those stories. Folks, thank you for taking time on a Wednesday to learn more hopefully this does change your opinion and your excitement a little bit on Microsoft. And if we can help get you in there, just let us know. We've got a lot of people to follow up with. So thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.